Yeah, so carrying on with the subject of mind and depression and the nature of reality, uh, we're going to get practical now. We're not going to get too philosophical. We're going to look at the reality of the situation. Um, Depression is a state of being in the sense of your body can become depressed, and that will also have a massive effect on the mind depending on diet. Diet will have a lot to do with it because your body tells you when something's wrong. If you're lacking certain vitamins, if you're lacking certain nutrition, certain things you may need, your body will react in a certain way. Sometimes it's very physical, and sometimes it might seem more mental, and most of the time it's a combination of both. When there's physical discomfort, there's also a mental connection to that. When there's mental discomfort, it's normally connected to something physical and it's giving you a signal. Saying that, it's a lot to do with your mental state, depression, and repetitive thinking about certain fears or issues and being stagnant, being stuck in a certain place. So, one of the best things to do is go out for a walk as often as you can, do something physical, something that keeps you kind of in the moment and grounded, because although, as I was saying, there's a lot more to reality than what we see here and now. I'm talking from a physical point of view, here and now, as in how we are usually perceiving things. But also on a deeper level, all there is the here and now. Now we might be experiencing that on a different level of consciousness if we're aware and we're doing some shamanic journeying, or maybe psychedelics or some meditation or something like that, trance dance. We might go into we might still carry our consciousness. It's not like we fall asleep and we carry that into an altered state. So we're still in the here and now. But if we're daydreaming wherever we are, we're off somewhere else. We're not totally in the here and now. If we're thinking about the future and what could happen, and oh, I'm doomed, and oh, I'm going to have a lot of issues, I'm never going to have enough money. All these thoughts contribute to depression, and they contribute to stress. And depression is also depression of the body, because when you are stressed on any level, your body will then produce certain chemicals that correspond to the state, cortisol, adrenaline, and these things also acidify the blood in the body and they cause problems physically. And that will also express itself mentally as depression, lethargy. When your dopamine levels, for instance, are functioning as they should, your motivation and your ability to feel good and your ability to enjoy the little things in life will be increased dramatically. So, similarly, when you have a chemical imbalance in the stomach, your digestion will be affected. If you have a chemical imbalance in your blood, it may cause infection. You'll have other issues. If you have a chemical imbalance in your brain, that will cause mental issues, like what they call psychosis and bipolar and depression and many other things. It's to do with how we're living on a physical level. It's to do with if we're doing what we love to do and what inspires us. It's also to do with how, if we express ourselves honestly with friends and people we may meet, then we have less weight on our shoulders. If you're speaking about your problems, you don't need a psychiatrist. If you're speaking openly with people who have got, who are listening and who care. I'm sorry if I'm speaking a bit quickly, but you can always rewind it and listen a couple of times if you need. I'm generally kind of rapid fire when I'm inspired about what I'm talking about. And for me, depression was a big one, and I realised how quickly, through certain plants, passion flower, as I mentioned in other videos, is a great one for depression and central nervous system. Magic mushrooms have helped me a lot. You can do microdosing, where you literally have maybe 2 mushrooms in a day, one in the morning, one in the evening, depending on the size, or you might have 2 in the morning, 2 in the evening, if you haven't got that much to do in the day. But rather than drifting off, meditate while you're experiencing the mushrooms, or listen to some calming, beautiful music, or play some music yourself. Play a little drum, give some, even without drum, you can hit the floor. All right, you get the idea. You can have fun. You don't have to have all the equipment. And with or without mushrooms, it doesn't matter. But I'm just saying that a good way of utilizing them. In fact, I'm going to make another video about that. Yeah. Because bringing a ceremonial respect and intention and creating a good set and setting as is spoken of in many psychedelic seminars and so forth. And yeah, depression, talk, get out there. Even if you talk to a stranger, don't like unload everything on a stranger straight away, but you can have a chat and ask someone, do you mind if I talk to you about my problems? I've got no one else to talk to. You'll be surprised, how open people are to that. Same as I would be if someone approached me like that, and same as you listening would probably be. We all have a heart, Some people's hearts are covered up with a lot of barriers and a lot of bullshit. But we've all got them, hopefully. Yeah. So yeah, keep your water intake, because that also can, water, food, these are the basics. Look at a good quality, balanced, healthy diet. What you put in your body will have a massive effect. Too much sugar will speed things up, and it will also have a degenerative effect on the organs and the blood, and you're more liable to get infections and low immune system if you have a lot of sugar in your diet. For the last maybe 6 months, I myself I've cut sugar intake almost to nothing. I've maybe agave syrup and honey occasionally, well, not occasionally, quite regularly. But I've cut out all the sugar, and it's had a massive effect on me on many levels. My sleep patterns, for a start, and my overall health has just been good. It's been through the roof since I got off the methadone and the heroin. And yeah, depression is, for me now, it's kind of a thing of the past. I might get down days and days where I'm a little, thinking, oh, I haven't got much to do, but that's about the extent of it. And things like food-wise, obviously you want to stick to fresh, healthy veg, and a lot of water, and a lot of good quality protein, nuts and seeds. If you eat meat, let go of the meat if you can, and stick to maybe, well, if you're going to have meat, have maybe fish and eggs, things a bit lighter. Um, all right, well, I guess we'll leave it there for now. Oh yeah, mindfulness meditation. This is a great tool also to keep yourself, to learn to stay in the moment and learn to be able to, because it's all very well saying, oh, it's to do with your thoughts, but by meditating, you can become very aware of your thinking process. Okay, psychedelics as well, depending on if you're using them in the correct manner, or, some may say correct manner. What do you mean? Well, there's a way of using them if you want to learn more about your thoughts. It might happen anyway, but if you're distracted with a lot of external stuff, like at a party, or you're with loads of people talking, watching a movie, chances are it ain't going to happen. You might get little waves or flashes of insight here and there, but sit there with a notepad or do some drawing before and after. That will help to integrate the experience and remind you of your experience, which is important, because it might be very vivid during the, well, we'll talk about that another time. But yeah, the meditation is very important, and I'm going to make another video where we get into that. But a basic one you might want to look up is like mindfulness meditation, Buddhist meditation. There's Anapanya and Metabhavana. These are two different types. It's Anapanya and Metabhavana. I'm not going to spell it. Well, yeah, we'll leave that. Basically, one of the Anapanya is you're just breathing through your nose and you're focusing. This is how I was taught, on this area here. As you breathe in, you may feel coolness of the air. You might feel a slight tingling if you have a moustache like I do, or you'll feel a tingling on your skin. Whatever the sensation is, just go with it and focus in on that a little bit. About 90% awareness you want here, and the other 10% just resting, where you might take in other things. But the only thing that you're going to be aware of is this area here. So you focus there and you feel the breath coming in and going out. And what this does is it grounds you in the moment, which is great if you do use psychedelics, or you're someone who thinks a lot, someone who daydreams a lot, as they call it. If you're on a bus and you find you get distracted easily and your mind goes all over the show when you're out and about, this is a great way, just not to do this all night, all day long or anything, unless you're up in the mountains or in a monastery, because obviously you want to be aware of, you can reach a very deep altered state doing this, and you want to be aware of what's going on. You'll find that you can integrate this also with awareness of what's going on around you, but in the beginning you might want to just close your eyes and relax, and you just focus on that area there. You can take a few deep breaths to start with, just to kind of it helps to bring your awareness there, because obviously when you have a very subtle breath, you might find it harder to focus and feel something there. But there'll always be a sensation there, and you can focus on it, and it helps you to create a very laser-like awareness after a while. And it will also help you if you practice regularly. It will become a habit for you to be able to focus on one thing in the moment, and it's connected to something real in your body. It's connected to something natural. It's part of nature, your breath. And you'll also find that just by observing the breath, it will relax and slow down. And when you're relaxed, your health will be almost untouchable. Your pH level of your blood will change to more alkaline, and with a relatively decent diet and water, that can be enough. And after a month or so of practicing this, you'll find it becomes probably very easy for you to be aware of your thoughts more and more, and be more conscious in the moment. Because it's in the moment that we act out. It's in the moment that our habits come to life. Now, if we just go with our feelings, oh, I feel like shit, let me grab this. That's just going from the past. That's how your brain connects, because it remembers a positive experience connected with a drink, or with a smoke, or with this, or with that, or with a certain emotional, But if we want to change habits, we want to be very much in the moment and start fresh. What's the best way of dealing with this? Not what have I done in the past. And this is the start of changing habits and letting go of depression by becoming more aware of ourselves. And when I'm talking about changing habits, it's so that we can start to live in line with what inspires us and what makes us happy, and what makes sense on a rational level as well. Right. All the best. Much love to you all. Take it easy. Steve out.